Much of the Earth's population had become dependent on agriculture. Scholars are not sure why this shift to farming took place, but it may have occurred because of climate change. When people began growing crops, they also began herding and breeding wild animals. Adapting wild plants and animals for people to use is called domestication. The first domesticated plant was probably rice or corn. The first domesticated animals were dogs, which were used for hunting. Sheep and goats were probably domesticated. Dance, the movement of the body in a rhythmic way, usually to music and within a given space, for the purpose of expressing an idea or emotion, releasing energy, or simply taking delight in the movement itself. Dance is a powerful impulse, but the art of dance is that impulse channeled by skillful performers into something that becomes intensely. The tobacco epidemic is one of the biggest public health threats the world has ever faced, killing more than 8 million people a year around the world. More than 7 million of those deaths are the result of direct tobacco use, while around 1.2 million are the result of non-smokers being exposed to second-hand smoke. All forms of tobacco are harmful, and there is no safe level of exposure to tobacco. Cigarette smoking is the most common form of tobacco use. Climate change and bioenergy demands are also expected to amplify the already complex relationship between world development and water demand. There is not a global water shortage as such, but individual countries and regions need to urgently tackle the critical problems presented by water stress. Water has to be treated as a scarce resource, with a far stronger focus on managing. Paleontologists use fossil remains to understand different aspects of extinct and living organisms. Individual fossils may contain information about an organism's life and environment. Studying oyster fossils can help paleontologists discover how long the oyster lived, and in what conditions. If the climate was favorable for the oyster probably grew more quickly and the rings would be thicker. If the oyster struggled for survival, the rings would be. Ethical hacking is identifying weakness in computer systems or computer networks and coming with countermeasures that protect the weaknesses. Ethical hackers must abide by the written permission from the owner of the computer system or computer network before hacking. Protect the privacy of the organization been hacked. Transparently report all the identified weaknesses in the computer system to the organization. Inform hardware and software vendors of the identified weaknesses. Information is one of the most valuable assets of an Honey is a sweet liquid made by bees using the nectar from flowers. It is graded by color, with the clear, golden amber honey often fetching a higher retail price than the darker varieties. Both raw and pasteurized forms of honey are available. Raw honey is removed from the hive and bottled directly, and as such will contain trace amounts of yeast, wax, and pollen. Consuming local raw honey is believed to help with seasonal allergies, due to repeated exposure to the pollen in the area. Pasteurized honey has been heated and processed to remove
Positive thinking is the idea that you can change your life by thinking positively about things. This idea can sound a bit soft and fluffy, which is something of a problem for many people who recognize that just thinking good thoughts won't change the world and therefore discard the whole idea. However, research shows that positive thinking really does have a The moon's presence helps stabilize our planet's wobble, which helps stabilize our climate. The moon's distance from Earth is about 240,000 miles. The moon has a very thin atmosphere called an exosphere. The moon's entire surface is cratered and pitted from impacts. The brightest and largest object in our night sky, the moon makes Earth a more livable planet by moderating our home planet's wobble on its axis, leading to a relatively Poison is any substance that is harmful to your body. Many different types of poison exist. Poisonous substances can be products you have in your house. Medicines that aren't taken as directed can be harmful. There are several ways you can be exposed to poison. You could breathe it in, swallow it, or absorb it through your skin. Poisoning can be an accident or a
Time can be considered to be the fourth dimension of reality, used to describe events in three-dimensional space. It is not something we can see, touch, or taste, but we can measure its passage. One explanation is that the natural world follows the laws of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics states that within a closed system, the entropy of the system remains constant or increases. If the universe is considered to be a closed system, its entropy can never decrease. In other words, the universe cannot return to exactly the same state in which it was at an earlier point. Time cannot. A business is an organization or any other entity engaged in commercial, professional, charitable or industrial activities. It can be a for-profit entity or a not-for-profit entity and may or may not have a separate existence from the people controlling it. A business is a commercial activity which involves providing goods or services with the primary motive of earning profits. The business concept is the fundamental idea behind the business. The business model, plan, vision, and mission are developed based on this concept. Every business strategy was developed based on earthworms very important to any garden. They work hard at keeping the soil clean by pulling down organic material and recycling it into fresh nutrient-filled soil. Many classrooms around the world are growing gardens. This kind of activity teaches children about the plants and animals in a garden. It also helps children learn about the weather and how to care for their gardens. Sunlight is very important to any garden. Sunlight helps the plants grow. Some flowers cannot survive in direct sunlight because the heat is too intense and actually to be fit and healthy you need to be physically active. Regular physical activity can help protect you from serious diseases such as obesity, heart disease, cancer, mental illness, diabetes and arthritis. Riding your bicycle regularly is one of the best ways to reduce your risk of health problems associated with a sedentary lifestyle. Cycling is a healthy, low-impact exercise that can be enjoyed by people of all ages, from young children to older adults. It is also fun, cheap and good for the environment. Riding to work or the shops is one of the most time-efficient ways to combine regular exercise with your
A tax is a mandatory fee or financial charge levied by any government on an individual or an organization to collect revenue for public works providing the best facilities and infrastructure. The collected fund is then used to fund different public expenditure programs. If one fails to pay the taxes or refuse to contribute towards it will invite serious implications under the predefined law. Be it an individual or any business, all have to pay the respective taxes in. The dictionary is a book which deals with the words of a language, its pronunciation, meaning, synonyms, accent, etymology, etc. It is a book of information or reference on any subject or branch of knowledge, the items of which are arranged alphabetically. The dictionary may be of any subject or branch of knowledge. The items in a dictionary are arranged alphabetically. The dictionary is used generally to get linguistics information about a set of items listed in a An advertisement is the promotion of a product, brand or service to a viewership in order to attract interest, engagement and sales. Advertisements come in many forms, from copy to interactive video, and have evolved to become a crucial feature of the app marketplace. An advertisement is different from other types of marketing because it is paid for, and because the creator of an advert has total control over the content and message. Advertisements are a guaranteed method of wool is a protein fiber formed in the skin of sheep, and is thus 100% natural, not man-made. Since the Stone Age, it has been appreciated as one of the most effective forms of all-weather protection known to man, and science is yet to produce a fiber which matches its unique properties. As long as there is grass to graze on, every year sheep will produce a new fleece, making wool a renewable fiber source. Wool growers actively work to safeguard the environment and improve efficiency, endeavoring to make the wool industry sustainable for A corporation can be created by a single shareholder or by multiple shareholders who come together to pursue a common goal. A corporate can be formed as a for-profit or a not-for-profit entity. For-profit entities form the majority of corporations, and they are formed to generate revenues and provide a return to their shareholders, according to their percentage of ownership in the corporation. Not-for-profit entities operate under the category of charitable organizations, which are dedicated to a particular social cause such as educational, religious, scientific, or research purposes. Rather than distribute revenues to shareholders, not-for-profit organizations use their revenues to further The historical rule of thumb for human resource staffing requirements is one full-time professional human resource person should be hired for every 100 employees. The actual ratio for a business can vary depending upon factors such as the degree of HR centralization, the geographic distribution of the employees served, the sophistication level of the employees, and the relative complexity of the organization. Behind production of every product or service there is an human mind, effort and man-hours. No product or service can be produced without help of human being. Human being is fundamental resource for making or construction of anything. Every organization desire is to have skilled and competent people to make their organization.